All right, hey, welcome. My name is Sean Stringham with Game On Live Studio. We are live here from the pool deck at Wood Aquatic Center in Irvine, California. I'm here with Camden Coker, and we are on deck. Camden, thanks for joining us here in the booth on day one of JOs.
Thank you so much for having me.
Camden is one of as a top athlete here in the United States in our 16U, plays for the 16U Pride team, and they are getting ready to have an exciting run in JOs. Camden, how's day one treating you?
It was good. We played two very good teams. Starting lineup went out hard. We went up, I believe, first game was like 5-1 first quarter, and we let some of our younger guys get some playing time, get some good playing time, help them out. Yeah.
And day one is just kind of one of those where you knock the rust off. Maybe you guys have been traveling quite a bit.
Yeah, we
for your crew.
Just got back from Greece, 2.5 weeks playing over there against a couple of clubs. Got to play Greece junior team. That was really fun. Got our butts kicked, and we're excited to come play here now.
Very good. You got your butts kicked there, but that's good. So, kind of describe the scene here. We're gonna go wide. We've got a couple of good shots. We're gonna go up. There's a high shot, but we've got our drone up in the air, Camden. That is Willet right over there. The sun's setting. Kind of talk from an athlete's perspective about what JOs means to you, right, as an athlete.
Okay, so JOs as an athlete, it's amazing to see all from around the country be able to come and compete together. Not only from all around the year, we're just playing California teams, but when you come to JOs, you get to play everyone from around the country, the best teams, get to come compete, get some really good competition. It's amazing. I love it out here. I'm excited for the next 3 days. We have some great matchups tomorrow. We play Mission and Del Mar. I'm excited for that.
Mission and Del Mar, both two teams to be reckoned with on the 16U side. Kind of talk about, like, as an athlete, you've done 3 or 4 of these different games now, or probably 8 to 10 JOs in your life. I don't know when you started, right? But kind of talk about the mindset of having to make through those 4 days.
So the second day is definitely one of the most important because you got to come out hard. We've been training since December, and that's really when the switch turns on. You have to be ready from there because the teams that win the JOs they prepare then. They don't prepare now.
Right.
You got to be mentally prepared back then, and that'll set you up for tomorrow.
Well, we don't. And for those of you who may or may not know, Camden's dad, Coach Coker, took the U.S. U20 team to a bronze medal over in Europe and Romania. What's the message from Coach? I mean, he's probably pretty he loves winning at this point, right?
He's stoked to be back with younger guys, get us in the water, get us learning what the junior team did. They came out hard, lots of film. They did film almost every single day, so we're trying to emulate what they did and hopefully come home with a medal.
Yeah, and so I mean, again, Del Mar and Mission, like that's a rough second day. Like you got to get one of those at least, right, to be able to move forward.
Yeah. Tomorrow will be good. We get to play 2 high-level teams. Get to see them early, which I think it's a blessing. It's good to play these teams early. Get to see what they have, see the athletes and how they're performing in this tournament.
What's the mindset? What do you do tonight to kind of to reset after every day?
Ice bath for sure. That's
ice
my
bath.
go.
There you go.
That's my go-to.
Nice. Yeah. After sitting on deck here all day, it's finally starting to cool down here a little bit, and I'm thinking that ice bath is the way to go. Like I can't wait myself. Like it's been humid. It's finally starting to cool off a little bit. We're starting to get some afternoon sun. So, tell me about last kind of thing here. What's the end goal? Like what do you want to get done here for the week?
Ooh, that's a good question. Man, end goal is definitely to win as many games as possible, but to come out learning, that's like the most important goal, is to learn for the future. We came back from Greece, we've learned a lot, and we're just trying to implement what we learned in Greece. So that's the most important part. We're just trying to implement the things that we've been learning for the past 6 months.
Fantastic. We have the chat up live here, so if you're out there in YouTube, and we're trying to get the audio dialed in here, if you're out there in YouTube and you have any questions or for Camden or I, please let us know in the chat. We can do some interaction with you here. Hey, we've got Trevor back in Salt Lake City with us. He's in the main studio back there, back at the Studio 13 is what we're calling that. Trevor, all good on your side there in Salt Lake? Everything's good?
Looks good. Everything looks great.
Excellent. Thanks. Let's go ahead, Trevor. Can we go to can you pull up the course that we have pulled up now? I think we have Will It Left pulled up, or Will It Right ready to go. Is that true? Or do you have something else?
I think we got Foothill for you guys here.
Okay, let's do some Foothill. That's right. We're going to talk about Foothill. So we've got Connecticut Premier there and Foothill or Utah United. Cam, you know I'm a little bit of a Utah fan, born and raised in Salt Lake City, and so in that this team is in the crossover game in that Utah United and Connecticut Premier. They're at Foothill. Like you're battling in that upper division right now. But in these crossover games, those are important because that kind of determines where they're going to go from there, right?
Very important. If you lose a game, you have to win that crossover to come back.
Yeah.
It's definitely most important. You don't want to be in a situation where you lose one game and that affects your mentality to be able to win the next.
All right. Camden, at 7:10, you said you had 10 minutes. You got to get over and support the boys over there on Will It Left. If you're out watching it, you can find and watch all of these games. We're streaming 9 different courses, all 12 days of JOs. We've got 8. We've got it going here for session 1. Will be session 2 is going to be all the women, and then we're going to head to Texas. You want to go to Texas with me?
I'm down. Sounds fun.
It'll be good. So coming up next, we're going to bring in Janai Kerr here. Go support your pop and coach over there. Thanks, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. We'll switch over to drone cam there and give a little look there. We'll see if we can get that. Course going over there at Will It Left. You can see that happen. We've got a little sunset happening here in Irvine. Good stuff. The idea here for this recap show is just to give us an opportunity to understand what's happening in the individual games and tournaments, individual tournaments and age groups as we go through here. And like we said, today we're really just kicking off the 2023 Junior Olympics. As I mentioned, Trevor was with us in Salt Lake City. He's running the broadcast hub for us, running as we get stuff loaded up here. I'm going to be here on the pool deck here at Will It. I'll be doing some play-by-play as we move along here through the tournament, but we just really want to give an opportunity to get some recap here. So many of you have been massive supporters with Game On Live Studio. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe on YouTube. Go check it out on Instagram at GameOnLS. We're going to be trying to highlight athletes just like we did with Camden there throughout the tournament and don't want to miss seeing. So we're going to try to work out and get your kid and your team on here. We'll do some team interviews, coach interviews as we kicking this off. But right now, let's talk about day one and session one. We're going to bring Janai in right now while we have an opportunity. He's going to join us somewhere in Orange County. He was here earlier, so let's get him in. Trevor, you ready to bring him in there? So as we come in with Janai, a couple of things in terms of seating. For the most part, we're going to be doing 18U and 16U. Hey, Janai, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Aloha.
Hey, aloha. There you go. You're not in Hawaii, but you are in Irvine.
We're
going to give you some aloha spirit as well. So
brought the aloha spirit to everybody competing in Junior Olympics.
There we go.
Including I think the 11 teams that came out from Hawaii.
That's awesome, man. That's incredible. They were all super psyched to be at the expo. They came through. They were looking for stickers. They were signing the banner. You can see behind me, we've had this banner rolling, and that was at the expo. We've asked all of the athletes, so maybe we can have those athletes be there, sign that. We'll have that with us throughout all three sessions. You were kind of wandering around. What did you see today, Janai, as you went through all of the different sessions or all the different pools and places you went?
Energy, a lot more energy than I have, man. These kids are fired up. They don't care if they flew from Texas or Greenwich or Hawaii or just came in from Newport Beach. From the first whistle till I left when I was sunburned, even myself, these kids were playing hard all day long.
Fantastic. And were you mostly at Woolett, or did you make it out to some of the other pools?
Mostly Woolett. I came by on my way back and saw some athletes from actually Newport, about down where I'm staying in my house.
So fun thing about Janai, he's very easy to see. He's 6'8", right? Many people know that. Has the 7'2" wingspan, and if you're at Woolett, come by because they have this huge poster and banner of Janai with the big classic wingspan, which he beats me for sure. I think Mark St. John got pretty close to it when he was doing it, but I think they asked you to hang that banner, right?
Yeah. I think I was the only one tall enough to hang it at the time. But I told Mark St. John that with his frame, stood up, see if he has the eligibility left for the open division. They need to make an open division for Mark St. John to come back and play. What game are you watching right now?
Right now we've got Northwest and Trojan in a 2-3 crossover and Woolett right, and then we've got Pride. I'm not sure who they're playing over on the left, but we just tuned in from Connecticut Premier and Utah United up at Foothill, and we've been kind of going back and forth on the drone shot as well. So talk about the mentality of an athlete going into this JOs. What's some good advice that you've got as an Olympian coming in and being ready to go?
I said this to every family I talked to yesterday at the expos, to have fun. You made it. This is the pinnacle of polo for this age group. Literally the world's largest water polo tournament here in the United States is hosting it. And
right.
We have the best athletes either on you as teammates or that you're competing against. So I think that recognizing the accomplishment of just getting to this point is the biggest part. Enjoying it and having fun. And then the teams right after that, by lunchtime, half the teams in this entire tournament had lost at least one game.
Right.
Just as many smiles, on both sides. And I think they recognize that it's just a learning experience and enjoy the opportunity.
And as on that mentality, as they move through that, there's very few teams that go through JOs and sweep, right? Or hardly, if any, right? As they go through, doesn't matter if they're in the championship division, the classic division, even the invitational division. I mean, that's a hard thing. And so, again, how do they reset? How do they get ready? And what are some of the strategies that maybe you've used as an elite athlete to brush off a loss and get ready to get psyched? Because I've seen some pretty dejected kids as I've been sitting here watching kind of in the backstage of it with the athletes.
You've seen the second round of games now.
Yeah.
That's when kind of reality is sinking in that, we're optimistic to go in with a goal, but at the same time, I just have to go back to making it fun because I've been fortunate enough to go and actually hand out a lot of medals the last few Junior Olympics, and some of the most disappointed faces I've seen have been the older divisions, 16s, 18s, on the silver medal stand.
Right.
And I have to remind them. Sorry, there's a helicopter going over by, but I have to remind them, like on our men's side, our men's Olympic team is still chasing our first true gold medal.
Yeah.
Over
Yeah.
100 years of competing, and the teams in the '80s, the team in 2008 are heroes.
Right.
Look up to them for the silver medal that they won, and I think that if they kind of put things in perspective, even though at that moment not winning, realizing all the hard work they've gone in, put into it to get to that podium in general is absolutely phenomenal.
Right. Right. I think we have up on the screen right now a look at the last game of the day. It's kind of some low light. Let's talk a little bit about the top seeded teams. So we've got SoCal, CCU, Newport Beach. What are you looking? That's for the 18U championship. What are you looking for, Janai, as those teams start to go through that? And are there any sneaker teams that you think are coming up?
I haven't seen enough games just today for the sneaker teams. But those top teams, the biggest thing that stood out just in the first, I don't want to say mismatches, but matchups that I saw was the execution of the passes, the dry passes.
Right.
And how those top teams really work the ball around. So you're not, as a goalie, right, you're not just facing one good shooter, you're facing the entire team that's attacking you. And I think that's the biggest difference. Probably not just the top 4 teams, probably the top 10 teams in each of those upper divisions, the 16s and the 18s.
Yeah, yeah. And so we do have a few teams to watch and beat on that 18U. Like I mentioned, SoCal, CC United, Newport, Mission, right up there. Those guys, I walked in with those guys, and they're massive. Obviously, I'm not sure Ryder and Will and a couple of those guys who went over to Greece, or not over to Greece, but went over to Romania to play in U20s. Like, are there any athletes that we should be looking for? Or the names, some of the key names within those teams on that 18U side?
You just mentioned some of them. I actually really, like I said, for me, it's the entire team and how they play well together. But most importantly, is how they peak. Because at minimum, you're having 7 games, right? Going undefeated,
right?
And most likely, you'll have 8 to plus games,
right?
And, I mean, you feel the heat coming. So our whole country is under some type of a heat wave, and staying hydrated and just recovering after each of these games. We're talking about day 1,
yeah.
And then day 2, 3, and who's going to literally peak up and show up day 4 physically and mentally prepared.
Right.
The biggest determining factor. And I honestly, I think more than on any individual athlete, it's going to be the coaches that have prepared their teams, bringing them, to the home stretch of staying collected.
Right. Well, on the 16U side, a couple of teams to look at: LA Premier, Mission A, San Diego Shores. Shores had a great game earlier here that I watched. And then some, maybe not sneakers, but from Northern California, coming hot off a future Super Finals championship, 680. Some of my guys there, Del Mar, are all great teams to look there. And maybe even like some to look at, like I'm at the Game On Live studio. We're a big fan of the underdogs. Maybe like Connecticut Premier, Greenwich. Any others out there you think that we should be watching as we go through the tournament?
I wouldn't even necessarily call them the underdog, other than the fact that geographically they don't have the advantage that the California teams do of consistent high level competition.
Right. Right.
In the past, starting with COVID, they weren't able to compete in Junior Olympics in California. They go to Texas, but now we have back to having the full national. Every top team throughout the nation, being able to represent their region to come to California now. So it's a great tournament. Just after day 1, I do want to say 2 things. Just over probably what I was most impressed with, and it's kind of almost sounds contradictory, but it's not. I was most impressed with the top team's patience of not forcing things.
Right.
And I can tell you, my teenage self was not one of those athletes. Quite so patient. And then at the same time, it sounds like it's not being patient, but I think one of the things that they can still improve on throughout the tournament even is making quicker decisions when passing the ball. They're still holding a little bit too long at some positions from what I would like to see. Right.
Okay. Well, good. A few highlights from the day, just kind of running through my show notes here. Speaking of Connecticut Premier, well, let's go with the 18U. Number 26 Legacy beat number 2 CC United. How about that? That's maybe something to look for, right? Everyone loses on day one. That might make the team meeting a little bit rough tonight, but I bet they'll recover. Connecticut Premier 27 seed beat 22 ARWPC American River Blue, and then they came through. CT Premier came through and had an impressive showing against Newport, just losing by 4 to Newport. And then let's see, we've got San Jose Foundation with a shootout victory over Utah United. Again, some goals favorite there, and I can't fault good for great moments on that. And let's see. So again, Janai, thanks for joining us here. We're not going to expect you to join us every night, but we're going to try to run this show at 10 o'clock as a preview show every morning here. And then we'll hope to have you join us for the recaps in the afternoon or evening, and we'll do those at 7 o'clock here live from Woolett.
I might save one little piece of trivia that I learned today for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let me give you a spoiler alert. Here's a question.
Here we go. All right.
What two, I call them top tier teams, I might be biased, what 2 top tier club teams are under the same umbrella? You're not allowed to answer right now.
I cannot answer, but if you can answer in the chat.
You can word it a little bit more clearly if you want to, because you're the mic man.
Yeah.
But
which 2 teams play under the same club umbrella but are competing separately for Junior Olympics? Is that what you're asking?
They have different names, and to be honest, I learned this myself from one of my friends who owns that umbrella.
There you go. Okay, so as we get ready to sign off here for our first 13th stream, it's been a ton of work to get this up and running. We hope to have some great insights, some more athlete interviews, coaches. Again, thanks to Janai, who's been a huge supporter of Game On Live Studio as we go through here. We are live here from the pool deck at Woolett Aquatic Center. We're going to bring it back onto the 13th stream at 10 a.m. local time, Pacific time. Give a little preview show as we go through and try to do a preview and a recap every day at Game On Live Studio. We'll also probably try to keep some of these live. We're going to be able to pull in some of the different shows. How do you watch the games? Well, let me tell you, you can go to goals.co, GOLS.co, and on goals.co, it is premium. It's behind a paywall. It's $19.99, but you get 400-plus games in 4 days. So we're going to be following primarily the 18U and 16U championship divisions on day 1 and 2. On day 3, we're going to pick up the 14U platinum and gold division here at Woolett. And then on our final day, and I'm super excited about this, every age, every division, gold, platinum, gold, silver, bronze, all the way through, and all age groups all the way down to 12U will have their championship, most of their semifinals and all of their championship games, bronze medals and gold medal games here live on Game On Live Studio. So that'll be able to, everyone's going to end with a medal here coming up on Friday. Then after that, we're obviously going to take Wednesday off, and then off to session 1. We're going to be staying here for the women's in session 2, and we'll try to keep that pattern here live from Woolett, and then pack it up and go to Texas. You going to Texas this year, Janai?
Possibly for a day, but going back to you and Game On Live Studios is the first thing I told you this morning was thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Congratulations for the success of growing it. But most importantly, thank you from everyone on behalf of water polo, not just the players, but the families that are able to watch these recaps, the games live and archived.
Yeah. On this first one, we're gonna hopefully we just wanted to get it up and get it live and start talking about it. We'll get better, just like any other team and coach. We'll get better every day and find some new things. Tag us on Instagram if you're out there, or Threads. That's another new one. We're gonna try to be posting some updates on Threads. If you have any questions, don't forget Janai's trivia. Okay, that's going to be your goal, is to just give us a trivia question every day so that we can come back. Maybe we can give some individual awards and stuff like that. We'll have to figure out what they get for getting the trivia question right. How about that?
I'll buy some Cap 7 gear for him.
Cap 7 gear donated from Janai for the answer of the Janai trivia question on the daily. So appreciate it. If you haven't already, check us out at Game On Live Studio on all of your social media platforms here on YouTube. Check out all the games at goals.co. Get that season pass and be ready to go. Parting thoughts, Janai, I'm going to leave it to you.
Mine's the same every single time. Game on.
Game on, baby. All right. My name's Sean Stringham with my guest, bringing the Aloha spirit. Janai Kerr has been a huge supporter of Game On Live Studio since day one. Two years ago, we started streaming 2 streams. Last year, we were 4. This year, 9. We're going to try to continue on that same growth trajectory until we get all of these games streamed over the next couple of years. Signing off from now, live from Willett here in Irvine, California. My name's Sean Stringham with Game On Live Studio. Peace. Thanks so much for joining us here. Hopefully we make some history with this. Thanks, Janai.
All right, guys.
Looking to level up your recruitment experience? Look no further than Game On Live Studio. Introducing our exciting highlight reels and game content. Capture the most epic moments from your season with our professional highlight reel service. Our talented team of editors will transform your gameplay footage into action-packed, adrenaline-pumping reels that showcase your skills like never before.
That ball punched out by Sophie Bolaki-Purcell.
Share your reels with friends, teammates, coaches, and colleges to get the recognition you deserve. Experience the thrill of reliving your best moments and inspire others to join the excitement. Game On Live Studio, where epic athletic moments come to life and help you succeed. Visit our website or contact us today to get started.